to live righteously.
All right, hold on, I gotta get around. Hey, it's time for another episode of the Cultural Hall. One you are gonna want to check out on YouTube because it's 3 live in the studio. I haven't done this in probably 6 years.
Pre-COVID, right?
Yeah, definitely pre-COVID, so that's what, 5 years at least, but we used to get together. This is what baffles me. We used to get together like this every single week.
Oh my gosh.
And people would
What a
come
great
from
social activity.
Yeah, from like 20 miles away.
Ooh.
You know, the big long distance. Listen, in the middle of a week, in the middle of a day.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah, no one has time for that anymore. Zoom and the church.
Sorry, I'm the empty nester, so, you know.
Like, I got plenty of time for that. Yeah, Verlin is here again. My wife asked me yesterday, did he move here?
What, to your house?
That's what I said.
Is she offering?
Yeah, I said,
Oh.
we got to get the guest room finished.
That's right.
Because he's going to be here. You basically come like once a month.
Once a month, once every 2 months.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah, I was like, oh, Verlin's in town again. Yeah.
I want you to know I appreciate it. The way that we're talking about it makes it sound like it's like Verlin's in town again.
Dang it.
Yeah, no, that's not how I feel. But I'm grateful you're here. It's fun to see you. I got to meet Susan over the weekend. The tattoo is real.
Okay.
There was some question in my mind that it might have been just a whole setup with a temporary tattoo. Absolutely real and cool to meet her. Way too cool. You must have been a cool young kid.
No, I just
No?
got lucky.
Okay.
Like I tell people, she dated 2 other of my roommates before she got to me, so.
And so were you what was left?
It's a good way of putting it. She would probably agree.
No. So that she was able to pull off the roommate switch.
She was.
That's a big
Wow.
deal. That's a big deal.
And back then, I don't think it was such a big deal. Today, if someone said that, people kind of flip out.
Yeah.
But back then, it was no big deal.
I don't know that it's never been a big deal. I think maybe it was a bigger deal than you were aware. You were just like, I'm grateful.
For the leftovers.
That could have been. Yeah. I was just grateful.
Yeah.
That's right.
Was that at BYU?
It was.
Okay.
And she's very quick to remind me also that once I proposed to her and she accepted, there was another young lady that came and challenged me and said, do you really want to marry Susan?
Like, yeah.
Oh.
And let's talk about that. Did you go out with that person at all?
I had,
Okay.
but
you
not
had-
a lot. We were mostly just friends, but not like serious going out.
Was she serious about you, or certainly more serious about you than you were about her?
Well, I guess I learned that once she asked this question.
Yeah. Yeah, it's stuff like that, the stories that you hear at like BYU about not only the fast engagements, but also like hey, I know you're engaged to this person, but last night I had a dream
Oh,
and
Oh.
we need to chat about this. And the amount of times that causes people to even have a moment of pause is wild to me. Wild.
I'm not going to criticize others' experience, but if I was to pull that kind of thing, I would ask my family to please have me go see a psychologist.
Well, especially now.
Well, yes, of course.
And we were having a conversation. We probably don't want to have all of the conversation off before we started talking. I did not know this, that you went to school in London for a little bit.
I did, yeah.
Before you, when you were in high school?
Yeah, the first year of high school was in London.
But they don't call it high school in London, don't they call it?
Actually, they called it high school, but in London, high school starts when you're 12 years old.
Okay, okay.
So yeah, we went there and we lived for over a year, and I came back with a full-blown English Cockney accent.
No, you did not.
Because we lived in a totally blue-collar place, and the
Amazing.
school I went to was like as blue-collar and as rough and tumble as you could ever imagine.
Okay,
Wow.
okay.
And it was the best thing for me because I was a little bit of a soft kid.
Mhm.
I was telling Richie earlier, we shopped in the Husky section for school clothing.
Back when you can have a Husky section.
Yeah, now it's
School-
politically incorrect.
Yeah,
You know, I would be I don't know what they would call it now, but no, England taught me how to be tough, how to stand up for myself, how to get involved in things, how to connect with people that I had very little in common with, even though they were mocking my American accent and being a Yankee all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so in return, I came home with a full-blown Cockney accent.
Sure.
And it was before everyone had videotapes. So my dad had cassette tape recordings of us, myself and my younger brothers and sisters.
Tell me you still have this.
No, I don't.
Oh.
And you'll totally appreciate this because, in the old cassette days, I don't know if anyone remembers, if you recorded on it and you did not want someone to record again on it, you had to break a little plastic tab in the cassette
Yeah, at the top. Yeah.
at the top. He failed to do so.
Oh,
Oh, no.
And as my teenage self, I was, desperate for cassette tapes to record songs off the radio, as one did back in the olden days. And all the tapes got over-recorded with, miscellaneous 70s and 80s music.
I already know that I'm going to regret asking this, but would you please fancy us with a little...
I can't do it.
Come on, yes, you
I
can.
can't. No, all I
terribly.
can do is a terrible Dick Van Dyke.
Let's do it. I'd love a Dick Van Dyke act.
Oh, blimey, will you get back to me?
Worth it. Worth it. If there's a tape, someone in the Youd family, come on.
I'm not good at accents.
No.
I was watching Hogan Heroes with my parents last night, trying to do German accent.
Yeah.
It was hard.
Yeah.
I can't.
Those don't age as well.
No, they don't.
Why not?
Okay. Well, fun. That's fun. I had no idea about that.
Yeah.
I learned about your wife. I learned about your schooling. I thought they call it finishing school. Isn't that high school in?
No,
sound very
like
high school.
etiquette
Yeah.
stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Harry
Yeah.
Potter has led me
Whenever
astray again.
she meets my wife, and he doesn't start with like small talk. He asks her like a serious question.
1,000%, which I appreciated her answer.
Because you hate small talk.
No, get right to
Yeah.
it. And I already knew Susan. Like I didn't know her
By
well, but
reputation.
I knew her by reputation, by story, by all of those things. So to be like, oh, how are you liking Utah? All of these things did not seem appropriate. So I went ahead and I asked her a question. You want to cue it up?
Go for it, man. No, you asked the question.
I think that and now I've got to remember exactly what it was. I think I said, what is your favorite thing about your husband?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
That's right.
Which I asked my wife that question 6 years ago, right before we got married. What's your favorite thing about me? Still no answer. Still waiting to hear what that might be.
It's because she has so many favorite
Yeah.
things about you.
That's it. It's hard to pick.
Yeah, weed them out.
Mhm.
Yeah, and so she thought about it, and I appreciated her answer because she said, it is the thing that I love about him, and it is the thing that I hate about him.
This is so Susan, this kind of an answer.
She said he's just so dang positive, and you could tell maybe she wanted to drop something a little heavier than dang when she said
And
that.
she usually would.
Yeah.
She just was.
Yeah, testing the
first
water.
time she met.
No, yeah.
No. There's
Hesitation on her end.
he can be salty.
She's he's just so dang positive. Like I'd like him to just one time be negative about something. So then I always feel like I'm the negative one, and then goes on this whole thing, and I just was like, oh my gosh. just infectiously positive. And then my favorite part of the other side of this is Verlin is like, I can be negative. I hate this. You want to hear me?
Remember that time that guy cut me off?
Yeah, I'm so mad. You don't remember? I'm negative. And we both, Susan and I, just sort of laughed at him. It's like, no, you're not. Don't be something that you're not.
No.
But good to be with you guys. Now, we haven't seen Megan the Mitch for a while. You brought mini muffins, which I'm going to ask you a question and then
Yes.
eat one.
Okay.
What is new with you? It is back to school time, which, can we start there? As we're recording this, it's not even the middle of August,
I know.
and all kids are back in school, it seems. Now I'm going to eat the muffin.
Yeah, please do. Yeah, so my kids who are still in who are not in college, they all start next week. Three of them start on Tuesday. The other one starts on Wednesday. So it's time to buy new school shoes, get some new uniforms. My teenage boys are very into vintage, so we're going vintage shopping.
Vintage what? Like shoes or
Clothes.
clothes?
Yeah, like vintage jeans, like Gerbos and vintage Levi silver cabs.
I went to a vintage T-shirt shop in Provo this weekend.
What was it called?
I can't even remember the name. It's in the river bottoms in
Was it
Provo.
Old Habits?
I can't remember,
Dang.
but they were legitimate T-shirts that were manufactured 30, 40, 50 years ago.
Okay.
And some of them were in tatters. And to be honest, the selection wasn't as good as I thought it was. I was looking forward to finding old concert T-shirts,
Mhm.
and I couldn't find any.
eBay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to go
Definitely.
there, but I wanted to browse and feel and,
Browse
That's-
eBay.
Yeah, so that's what we're doing, but
Cozy Nook. Was it Cozy Nook treasures?
that's like vintage like house stuff.
Thrift Hood?
I can't remember the name.
I'm just going to start yelling out. Old Habits is vintage.
Yeah, that one we favor that one a
That
lot.
has
In
to
fact,
be it. It must be Old Habit.
we're actually going there today.
Okay.
My son has gotten a few items there before,
Okay.
so we dig it.
What
There's a
gets-
T-shirt there that looks like an Adidas T-shirt,
Mhm.
but it says something about Jesus power or something like that. It was a cute T-shirt.
Pause. Adidas?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Those of us who've lived in the country and worked in the
No.
country where they are
No.
headquartered,
No.
so the
No.
way they
Yeah.
want it said.
No.
On your way to Zion and Alta?
I'm sorry, it's a German brand, and the Germans say Adidas. If you
I
work
reject
with
it.
them at
I have not
headquarters,
lived my life to think
yeah, to say
Adidas.
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 No,
It's Adidas.
you say it
You gotta
the way the people that
Adidas.
you say Nevada because that's the way people who live in Nevada say it. You say Oregon because that's the
That's
way
how it's
people
said.
say it.
Thank you very much.
Well, Adidas is said Adidas.
Bless them.
So.
Nevada, Oregon, Adidas, Alta, Zion. Do you do limits on how much you'll spend with your kids? How do you do that stuff? Because
We've-
teenage kids are the worst.
We've done it different every single year.
Yeah.
So like 1 year with our older girls, we said however much you want to contribute to your school clothes, we'll match it.
Okay.
This year, both of my sons have been working a lot.
Mhm.
One of them has been umpiring. The other one got a job at Arctic Circle. So they've had like consistent paychecks. And we basically told them, we're like, we don't want you to spend all your money.
And we don't want to match that massive
Right,
amount
exactly.
of money that you
Well, because my one
Yes.
is obsessed with vintage clothes. He would spend all of his money if we let him. So we basically were like, you can get one nice thing, and depending on the cost, then we'll decide if you're paying all of it or if we're going to pay some of it. But he wants to do the rest of his shopping at just like thrift stores, like
Cool.
the DI and stuff. So it won't be too bad. My other kids wear uniforms, and they also don't work, so I'll be buying those.
The Wednesday morning at the Deseret Industries in Murray on like 4500 South and just west of State Street. That I'm not sure why everyone is there at that time. I'm imagining it's because that's when they put all the new stuff out or whatever.
Probably.
It is hundreds of people in the parking lot. I drove by and I was like, I'm clearly missing something right now.
Do they
So many
do they sell records at DI?
Sometimes.
yeah.
Yeah, they have like a collectible section.
This is a good reason that they don't have DI where I live. Now I'm going to start having to hit DI.
Well, I've
Yeah.
got some records in the hallway closet that we found. I'll let you
Well, let me peruse. Yeah.
I can guarantee that my grandparents didn't have the rock music taste you might be after, but
Oh,
If
I
you're-
like all kinds of music.
if you're into vintage musicals, you might be in luck.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So good. You ready for him to get back, get
Mhm.
done? How
Yes.
old's your youngest?
7.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I tell my fishing story?
Yeah, I think that you should.
Okay, so a couple years ago,
Is this real fishing,
This is
or is
real.
this like my uncle saying they're going fishing?
No, this
they're
is
really
real.
going drinking.
Are you
This is
making a real pun as in REAL? EEL? Because if so, wait a
All puns unintended.
Way
We
to
don't
go,
take
Dad
credit.
joke. Way to go, Dad joke.
love it. So I actually recorded with you 2 years ago after I went fishing on the Arctic Circle.
Uh-huh.
Do you remember me telling you about that?
Yeah, I think I asked you about a square pumpkin, right?
No.
No, the square pumpkins at Arctic Circle, forget it. Go on.
Yep. So we did the trip again. This is a place my father-in-law has been going for like 50 years.
Okay.
Okay, so we went up. It was me and my husband and my mother-in-law and father-in-law, and you go up to Great Bear Lake, which is split in half by the Arctic Circle,
Mhm.
and there's like 40 guests there at a time. It's only open 8 weeks out of the year because the lake is frozen, right? And you catch tons of fish,
And massive.
massive.
Oh.
So last time we went, my biggest fish that I caught was a 23-pound lake trout.
Mm.
Now here in Utah, that's big fish.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right?
Monster fish.
Yeah.
Guess how big my fish was this year?
Oh, okay. All right.
And we have photo evidence.
Yes.
Okay.
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 Your biggest fish this time was 57 pounds.
Oh my gosh, I wish. Thanks.
Oh.
Now's going to
32.
be. So I caught
It was 24 pounds.
I caught a 44-pound lake trout.
Oh.
And
Is that really a trout when it's 44 pounds?
yeah, it kind of looks like a shark.
Sounds like a sturgeon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll show you pictures when we're all done. But yeah, I do have photographic evidence. And, you're there. And at this time, there were only 3 guests who were females.
Okay.
Me and my mother-in-law and then one other woman. And then
Yeah.
all of the rest are like these burly fishermen who are all there chasing, they call them hogs, chasing the hogs, trying to get the biggest fish. And I caught this 44-pounder the second day that we were fishing.
Yeah, so take that, 37 guys that are
Yep.
burly.
Yep. And so every single day I was just like listening to all of these guys talk about their biggest fish. And I'm like, okay, I still got the biggest. I still got the biggest. And by the end, not only had I caught the biggest fish out of my family
That's right.
by a lot,
Yep.
I beat everybody else as well. Every single guest who was there, and they all take it so seriously,
Mhm.
which I do too, because I want to win.
Well, she obviously, if you're on YouTube, you know that she takes it seriously because she's still wearing her gear.
Yeah, look at that.
This is the fish I embroidered on my overalls.
Oh,
Well,
you
it's-
also did that?
I did.
Awesome.
And a turtle too. That's
Yeah,
fun.
it's for my son.
Wow.
And then there's Arctic flowers on the back. Anyway, yeah, that was what I
All
did.
themed out. I love it.
Did you do the thing that I insist that if you do this adventure again and you have similar circumstances arise, I insist that you do this where you go, hey, do you guys need help? Do you want me to show you how to do this?
I can show you the right spot.
Yeah,
Yeah. Dan.
You guys want to come over here? Look, I mean, I caught a 44-pound the other day. You want to come over here? I'll show you how to do it. That is 100%.
I may have said things similar to that.
Nice.
But like my husband, he didn't have as successful of a fishing trip as I did because I also caught lunch every day.
Uh-huh.
And I also caught a 30-pounder and 3 20-pounders, and I caught hundreds of pounds worth of fish.
Jeez.
And my husband didn't even take any out of the water.
Oh,
Like take a picture. But I only feel a little bit bad because 4 years ago he caught a 50-pounder and holds the record for our whole family. So I don't feel like too terrible.
Are you a family that would taxidermy these fish and put them on the wall?
So not me.
Yeah.
My father-in-law would, and he
Yeah.
has some, but at this particular lodge, they don't do that anymore.
Okay.
They used to. It's now they call it hug and release, so you don't take any home.
Oh, hello, my little fishes.
Well, yeah.
Don't you feel like you fish differently though when you're planning to eat the fish?
So here's the thing, Verlin. I don't actually eat fish, really.
She just killed
You just torture them.
I do up at Great Bear Lake. I will eat it every day for lunch.
Okay. There you
Because
go.
it-
You eat fish.
It's part of the experience.
It's part of the experience.
yeah.
My guides are cooking it up fresh. The fish is so high quality. It's better than sushi grade. It's very clean and very, and they are able to disguise it so it kind of tastes like chicken.
I'm going to give you
But-
credit. I'm not going to mock you too much.
Thank
but
you. Thank you. I appreciate it. But yeah, so I don't know. The thing about it is that up at this lake, you catch like a smaller fish and then you let them go and you say, okay, go get bigger for next time.
Yeah.
know?
Be a sucker again.
Yeah.
I'll see you again in the future.
Exactly.
Well,
That's the highlight of my summer.
yeah, absolutely.
Catching a
Going
44
up
pound
37
Now I'm-
men.
Now
Yep.
I'm wanting to go.
You should.
We do a boys baseball weekend. I want to do a boys fishing weekend.
I'll give you all the info because it's life changing.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
want to.
And I named my fish Hank the Tank.
Okay.
And then
And then you hugged him. And
Yes.
then you put a little name
And
tag.
you couldn't eat it.
Yep. And then my 30-pounder, I named him Biff.
Okay.
And then my 20-pounders, I didn't name them. And then the ones we ate, I didn't name them either. But no, it was-
Delicious. I named one Delish. That sounds good. I'd go with you, Verlin.
Okay, but do it.
I'm neither a boy nor a man, nor much for trips like that.
We
but
could
I'd go
do
with you.
we'll do a cultural haul.
No, people won't go. People won't go.
No.
Well,
it's,
well,
it's
Yeah, you
expensive.
and I.
We know Kurt.
Expensive,
We know
no,
Kurt
people
will
won't
go.
Yeah, no, Kurt. I don't even know who that guy is anymore.
Yeah.
We fought online the other day. We'll talk about that.
I want to have that conversation because I looked into it.
So we'll talk about that coming up
Yep.
in news. Plus, we've got other stories. It's been a rather kind of slow-ish
Mhm.
summer, but we've got some news stories we'll get to. We'll come back when we get to the second half of articles of news. Now, you guys say something fun because I got to get up, go across the room, and then put pause on this and then get to the news. So
Does anyone know how long of a break we actually take when he
No.
does this ever?
seconds.
It's
Yeah.
like 5 seconds.
It's really nothing. It's not even enough for a commercial until he edits it in.
Let me take just a moment to tell you all about bestdjinutah.com. That is the website where you can learn all about me. Oh, sure, you probably feel like you know me, but you know me in the cultural hall sense. I have a DJ company, now 6 of us strong, great event hosts, MCs, and DJs that can be able to make whatever event you have coming up absolutely spectacular, and hope you will reach out to us. Now you're thinking, well, wait a minute, Richie, I don't live in Utah. Would you travel? Absolutely, I would travel. Would they travel? Absolutely, they would travel. Whatever your event is, doesn't have to be a wedding or a community event. We can do all sorts of things. I can teach you line dancing. I can dance with you. We can do partner dancing. We can do all kinds of things, but we can't do any of it if you don't hit me up. You can go to bestdjinutah.com. You can fill out the form to get more information or get a quote, and then I will get right back to you. Find out why I'm so busy and why sometimes we don't get episodes of the Cultural Hall. It's all because of bestdjinutah.com.
And we're back for the second half of the Cultural Hall where we talk actual articles of news.
There
Hit
you
it,
go.
Peter.
You can't lose articles of news.
Almost. We almost got that.
I am
Yeah.
awesome.
Hey, listen, I don't ever let anyone do it, so I was glad to do it.
Cool.
We are going to talk several articles that have come out in the last couple weeks, really. Some of these because, well, it's busy. I did a wedding last night. I was working when I saw Verlin. and
You were.
cruising
And good job of it.
oh,
too.
thank you. It was the modern cars. You should have been there for the classic.
I was
cruising.
bummed. Yeah, we broke the Sabbath when we were there on Sunday.
I was proud of you though for that because you didn't. You know how sometimes when you see people you know on the Sabbath and they know and you know that you should not be doing that, and like I know I shouldn't be working. Yeah, we didn't do any of that.
Well, we figured we couldn't be too awkward because we were holding our mocktails.
Yeah.
We were doing this on this.
And then when I tasted the mocktail and it wasn't so mocky, I was like, geez. When he goes all the way for it. What story did you want to go to first, Verlin? I'm going to pull up some of the more recent ones as we're chatting.
Start with a feel-good story.
Okay.
So there's a story about two sisters, Sister Teresa Draper and Sister Janice Johnson. They are biological sisters, and both are serving together in the Adriatic North Mission.
Okay.
I
Now-
thought it was so cool that two sisters went out separately on missions, and they're now companions.
But like as a senior missionary, that's going to happen like way more often though, right?
Usually senior missionaries go to different missions, though.
Yeah, but you get to choose. So it'd be like
do.
if you said, can you believe it? Susan and I are going to the same mission. That sort of is what that seems like.
That's
You-
sort of.
You get to pick, right?
Well,
I guess companions, when you're both single sisters, would be
Interesting.
different. Yeah.
Well, the one sister went out with her husband, and he had a health emergency
geez.
that ended up in him passing away.
Oh,
my
geez.
goodness.
And now I feel stupid for the joke I just made.
You're good. She came home and she spent some time, and she kept getting the feeling she needed to go back and serve in the mission field. And so she went back and served in the mission field, and they had a need for somebody with a certain skill set. And she called her sister, who said that she was going through some tough times and was trying to figure out where her life should go. And it was an answer to her prayer. And so her sister came out and joined her in the mission field, and now they're companions working in the mission.
So that's way cooler than I thought.
It's super cool.
Would you serve a mission with one of your siblings? I can't ask you because I know both of your siblings and I know which one you would serve with and which one you wouldn't. So I don't want to get you in trouble.
Can I plead the fifth?
Yeah? I would do it, but here's the thing.
I could.
I would do it, but you know the old Saturday's Warrior,
Yeah.
like singing and dancing, but not a whole lot of teaching. That would be with the one brother that would go and do a mission with me. We are not the ordinary. We would just
Extraordinary.
we would be in the park singing and dancing, and by the end of the day, we'd be like, oh, yeah, maybe we should have done some other stuff
I
today.
feel like that could bring some people.
Yeah,
I think so too.
If COVID has taught us anything, missionaries with interesting talents will get people interested.
I'd do it. I'd do it.
I'd do it.
I'm thinking about my children who, like, if they would serve a mission with their siblings,
Okay.
it would be disastrous.
Yeah.
Really?
I totally agree.
Down.
Yeah.
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 Oh, it would be.
Either like a structure would burn down or like a testimony would burn down. Like it would just
This can't be true.
Exactly.
I'm out.
In ours, it would be fabulous for the first 2 months because they would just be competing like crazy, and then it would blow up.
Okay.
So something would burn down.
Well, that's exciting.
Where is the Adriatic
yeah.
Mission? Is that like
Now-
Croatia?
Now you're challenging my
Sorry.
my geography. This isn't Jeff Openshaw. He would know.
No.
Who's that?
He used to, Al and Jeff used to do the, that should not be named, the longest running, never duplicated, or imitated.
You got to say it in Matt's voice.
No, I don't even know who Matt is. I will not.
I thought we were going to interview them.
If they do, we've made the extended, we've
Have
extended
you?
the offer, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but who are they?
I don't know.
Okay.
Who are any of
I'm
us anyway?
glad she's loyal and she hasn't listened to
Doesn't
other
know what we're talking
other podcasts.
Well, there aren't any. There shall be no other podcasts
Exactly.
before this show. This I thought was cool. At first, I thought it was just that someone sort of adapted this and made this for themselves personally.
Mhm.
But this from the church this past Sunday, they gave focused attention on points from his April 2025 General Conference address.
This is
That being
President Nelson.
Yeah. Confidence in the presence of God. And there are these slides, and you may have just seen them and thought, oh, okay.
They
They're
legitimately thought
great.
somebody
Yeah,
just
the
like made up
Instagram posts.
Yeah. Be confident that you can approach God right now. And it's a picture of President Nelson praying. Be confident Heavenly Father loves you. Be confident that he understands your needs better. It's pulling up. I think it's better than you do. Is that? Yeah, better than you do. Be confident that he loves you more than you can comprehend. Be confident that he sends angels to be with you and with those you love. And be confident that he yearns to help you reach your highest potential. And I just sort of liked the sentiment from each one of these. I love that we're recapping. I mean, if we're going to study and do them in Elders Quorum and Relief Society, let's have a church-focused recapping these,
Yeah.
talks from
Yeah.
conference as well. One thing that, and I am a horrible person for thinking this, but if you look at the imagery that's used, it is very specific, and I wonder if people discount it because of the imagery that is used. One of them is President Nelson, and then like if you are likely a Jello Belt member of the church, I don't know that you're represented in any of the pictures that are shared.
I think intentionally they try to stay away from that because it's now a global church.
Yeah.
You can be specific. In the first picture, it's President Nelson, and he appears to be praying. The second picture is a young lady of African descent of some kind. The third picture is a young gentleman of African descent. The fourth is someone with a hearing disability.
Here's the thing, though. I am represented. I'm a mom.
Yeah, you are.
that.
So I don't
Yeah.
want to be the guy that's like, hey, what about the? It's just striking to me because I know that the church puts so much time and effort and hand-wringing into what they should put.
They are
In each of
super
the picture?
intentional.
Mhm.
Super.
So it is interesting to me that there isn't like there's the prophet, but there isn't like schlubby middle-aged white guy from the Intermountain West.
True.
I
And
appreciate it.
maybe we had our time. Maybe
You have, and you're
Maybe-
still there. Look at the Quorum of the 12.
But also look,
I'm and to be clear, I'm not claiming like, hey, we are utterly neglected or
No,
that's
no.
I'm not saying anything like that. But when you see that the church very deliberately picks different images, it is interesting to me that sort of is left to the
I'm
side.
sure that we can find a bunch of vintage like Mormon ads
Yes,
that will,
that will
represent the schlubby middle-aged white man.
It may make you cringe too. Depending
Yes,
on-
they do.
yeah, well, most schlubby middle-aged men make me cringe just a little bit.
Good to know.
Yeah. I'm sure I'll get hate for that. Contact at theculturalhall.com. You can go ahead and send it. That's fine. We'll respond. We'll maybe share your email on the show.
I love these messages. I think they're very, very personal. And as I read through them and kind of thought about me personally, each one meant something.
Yeah.
It was they're quite good.
They're important reminders because sometimes for me, it's so easy to get lost in the day-to-day. I have a million kids, and so I'm constantly doing things with them, and I can lose sight of like the bigger picture of my relationship with Heavenly Father
Yeah.
very easily.
Do you are you guys ones that get so some people can get really great motivation from like hearing a song and you're like, oh, this song moved me and I feel it. Posts that have like a good quote or like that one, like be confident. Does that cause like something within you as you're looking at it to be like, oh, stop and reflect? Or do you look at it and you're like, yeah, that's a thing.
When the Lord decides to move upon me. yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool.
I'm a sucker for a good quote
Yeah.
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 and for music.
Yeah. Music is a huge one for me.
Mhm.
Hearing like if there was maybe a little clip of President Nelson,
Oh,
like
yeah.
hearing his voice and being able to do it. The written word or like memes for that, just memes with no video or no sound or anything like that. They don't do anything for me the way that I would like them to. I'd like to have a post come up and be like, that is moving.
Yeah.
I'm going to remember that. But instead, what it reminds me of, those leadership posters that were
Yeah.
big in the late 90s?
Mhm.
Yeah,
There-
it's
there-
you can't control the wind, but you can set your sail.
Yeah. There's one that says, I think it's like motivation or something like that. And it's from a website that's like demotivating posters.
Oh, yeah. Those are
And it says motivation. If a beautiful picture and a clever quote are what inspire you to do better today, you have a very simple job that will one day be replaced by robots. And I think of that every time I see like this quote that people are like, oh, you need to feel something. You need to be moved by this. I just am like, demotivation.
Yeah.
If you are motivated.
Music moves. I mean,
1,000.
Yeah.
I posted something and you saw it the other day, but in the last week I've gone to 2 concerts and then music and the spoken word. And I went and saw Rob Thomas in concert, and I didn't expect to feel so moved by it. But he did something and said something that I'd never heard before. His lead guitarist is playing away and he started mocking his lead guitarist. Well,
Okay.
turns out his lead guitarist is his son.
Jeez.
He's
Wow.
27 years old now, and I saw Rob Thomas in 1999 the first time, and his music again is talks about serious things because he's talked about how he deals with anxiety and depression and has some serious challenges, but it's very uplifting music that you're going to make it, you can do well, you're going to figure it out. And then we saw Old Dominion the other night in Salt Lake, and again, their music is very optimistic.
Yeah.
I'm going to start mocking Susan because she's the one who chose these concerts, and she tells me I'm the optimist. Anyways, that was fantastic. And then we went to music and the spoken word, and I've said before that touches me probably as much as any other kind of church meeting.
When you go next, because I could have probably swung music in the spoken word, but I didn't know you were
You're
going.
a busy man.
Oh, listen, I could have done it on my way to 10 other things, but I could have maybe done it. Let me know when you go to music and the spoken word yet. It's been decade plus.
Yeah,
I think
will.
maybe I went with Brother Kyle right before he passed.
No.
But maybe that was the Christmas. That might have been the Christmas music and the spoken word that we went to. It also could have been something entirely different. I don't actually remember, but I've got the picture.
Yeah, there was no one there on Sunday. I sat in row F only because I wanted to be high enough to see the orchestra rather than too low in the audience. I could have sat on the third row.
For a moment when you said there was no one there, I thought maybe you went on the wrong day.
No.
They're like, it's Saturday. Is it not Shabbat? What are we doing here?
I worried because the parking lot was empty that I always park in, but I got there and it was good. There were probably 1,000 people total.
Okay. Well, a lot of people doing the Friday night concerts on top of the conference center now.
Yeah.
Get their music fix there. Huge, from what I've understood. Couple have had been moved inside because of wind.
Makes sense.
They've had a lot of wind and heat and all that stuff, but otherwise, we're very well attended. You had a story that you wanted to get to.
Yes. So in Papua New Guinea, the fourth stake was created in 14 months, and on that same weekend, 129 people were baptized. So in the nation of Papua New Guinea, from the years 99 to 2023, there were only 2 stakes. And in the last 14 months, they have created 4 more.
Jeez.
So the growth of the church in Papua New Guinea is just like exploding. So over the weekend of the 2nd and 3rd of August, they created the new stake, which I believe is called the Minj, is in Minj, Papua New Guinea. They had so many people arrive for the creation of the new stake that they had to put up a large tent to accommodate everybody. Members arrived in their traditional dress.
Which is awesome. Whenever I see members of the church doing regular member of the church things, but in traditional dress, it's incredible. I love those pictures.
So neat. Let's see. Sorry, your cord's annoying.
Oh, sorry. Cord. Mic cord, we'll move it.
It's fine. Elder Brian Maybe, a senior missionary serving in Papua New Guinea, explained what he felt from the church members during the meetings. You could feel the love that the people had and the excitement, especially that they had for the creation of the new stake here. Some people walked 11 miles and slept at the front gate so that they wouldn't miss this meeting. There was a really neat quote. So Elder Chris Houston and Sister Barb Houston, senior missionaries serving in the Pacific, posted on Facebook that Latter-day Saints don't need that much to have a ward or a stake. Quote, a roof is nice, but walls aren't necessary. Chairs are nice, but are expendable. Sunday dress is river washing your one old white shirt and wearing flip-flops instead of going barefoot. Phones and dry wipe boards are luxuries. Printers and copiers are unimaginable luxuries, they wrote. Which I really love that. I was a primary president one time, and the other primary presidents in the stake were all about like all of the things that they could put up on the bulletin boards and all of the extras, and it was beautiful.
They do a great job.
They do a fantastic job. But we had a huge primary that I couldn't like wrap my brain around doing any of the extras. We had hundreds.
100.
Oh, like I had 5-year-olds in senior primary because my junior primary was 4 Sunbeam classes and 4 CTR4 classes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
If you heard that, that was my brain exploding.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
My daughter's listening. She has it easy as a primary president right now.
And it was 3-hour church too.
Okay.
So it was just like a bonkers situation. At one time I had over 100 adults working in primary between,
oh my gosh.
between primary teachers, primary substitutes, Cub Scout leaders, activity day leaders.
That's a corporation.
Yeah.
It was.
Oh my gosh.
It was bonkers. And I just had to finally say to myself, if a member in if like a primary president in Papua New Guinea doesn't have the same resources that I do, I don't need them.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Agreed.
Because the thing that was important was the children. And in this case, the thing that is important is bringing the ordinances to the people of Papua New Guinea and making sure that they have all of the support that they need. Anyway, that's my side quest.
What are they doing in Papua New Guinea? I've always called it Papua New Guinea, but Papua New Guinea that is bringing so many members of the church. Do we know? I know they got a temple that was announced, I think, at the most recent General Conference or the one before. What is going on there that is exploding work?
He said President Young Yen, he must be the stake president, explained that much of the growth is attributed to members bringing the truth of the gospel to their friends. There are no missionaries assigned to this area right now. They are all referrals. He explained that they send 12 to 14 missionaries on special assignments for a few weeks to teach and baptize those who are already prepared in areas like this.
Wow.
They come willing to join the gospel. These people have almost nothing, yet they find happiness in the way they live.
Jeez.
What I loved about the images here is you look at it, it looks like an old Southern revival,
Yep.
right? It's hundreds and thousands of people under a huge tent, eyes are bright, smiling, happy to be there. And then 129 people dressed in white.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they set up a font next to the tent.
Well, and as I'm reading, there were even more who were willing to be baptized. They had 347 baptisms scheduled, but between difficulties of long distance travel, not enough baptismal suits, some were not able to get married in time for the baptism. So it would have been more than almost double. Wait, no, more than double. I don't do math.
Triple.
The other thing that impressed me is the jump suits they are wearing in the baptismal font
Same
is
as
the
we got
same
here.
one as every building of the church.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, can we sponsor jumpsuits?
Could we just allow people to make white jumpsuits?
Well, no. I mean, I get where you're going with that because sometimes they don't fit well, and especially when you look at people, you go like, "Nee."
I'll tell you what,
They're not
the camera adds at least 30 or 40 pounds if you're looking at YouTube.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, that white jumpsuit makes me feel like I'm 100 pounds heavier.
Yeah. But I'm thinking about what a cool thing it would be, whether it's cultural hall or not, that we say, hey, we want to send a package of baptismal clothes to the people of Papua New Guinea.
That's a great idea.
I think that the church it would be aware of this, right?
Yeah.
Making the means necessary.
Yeah.
Or maybe they don't want to make the investment because it's like, hey, we don't know if this is just a
Right.
short-term boom and all that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure they're stocked with the standard allotment.
Someone else answer me this, because maybe you guys know, maybe you don't. We don't have to be baptized in white, do we?
I think it's tradition.
Well, I know that it's tradition.
Well, I mean, pictures from the very early church, Joseph Smith and was it Oliver Cowdery?
Yeah.
Yeah. In the is it the Susquehanna?
That's Susquehanna River?
They were not in white.
No.
They were in their just like their slacks.
Because
and-
they hadn't invented the jumpsuit.
True.
yet. Why do we do it that way? And I'm being serious as a means of like, these were some of those people were turned away because they didn't have enough suits.
Mhm.
Why wouldn't we just say
Go ahead and baptize any clothes you're
baptize-
wearing.
And maybe they wanted to be in white and it's symbolic and everything like that. But
It's a good
I
point.
would be curious to know why we do it, where we're baptized in white. Why
I'm
we-
sure that at some point someone did it in white as kind of something they did personally or as a family.
Mhm.
And someone said, oh, that's a brilliant idea. Let's go do that.
Yeah.
And it just became tradition.
So in your guys' stakes, do like when children are being baptized,
Mhm.
do whoever's doing the baptism, maybe it's a dad or grandpa or whatever, do they also wear a jumpsuit or do they? Because in our stake they wear their temple whites.
Whatever whites they
Yeah,
put.
whatever whites.
So it could be I wore a jumpsuit most recently because the convert that was being baptized, I didn't
Mhm.
want them to feel like I was
Sure.
trying to be different than they were.
And in a convert baptism, I definitely see that
Yeah.
being the case. When our oldest two kids were baptized, it was in another stake that we lived in, and my husband wore a jumpsuit. But then in our stake that we live in now, it's always been the standard that they wear their temple whites, mainly because our stakes have grown, our wards have grown so fast that we would have baptisms services that would last all day,
Yeah.
and they didn't have enough jumpsuits for all of the
Yeah,
in the right
makes sense.
sizes for all of the dads or whatever.
I love the idea that you get baptized in any clothing, and I don't think it's certainly not doctrine.
The internet is so great. It is such a gift to
Sometimes.
all of us. I did a quick search on why do Mormons get baptized in white, and someone said, well, they started doing the white jumpsuits immediately after Elvis was baptized. And that is such a great place
Sometimes.
to not find anything that is
The
actually.
same question I was going to ask is, does it have to be polyester?
Yeah.
You should try LDS Bot. That might have a good answer.
True.
Oh, yeah. Here, I'll let you do that. The other thing that is sort of interesting to me about that, whether it's plain clothes or not. So when I had the opportunity to be baptized a second time, I was thinking about
Wait, they did that when they first came to the Utah Valley. Are you saying that you were here in
as a
1837?
recommitment.
Oh,
class. Yeah, when we were doubling down in the 1850s, and every member had to be rebaptized to commit themselves. Kudos for you for knowing that. Not everyone knows that. No, because being excommunicated, then having the opportunity to be able to be baptized again. I, for a while, thought about going to, Lake Erie.
Right, destination baptism.
Yeah,
Ooh.
but the red tape on it was so much. I just was like, because you have to have the approval, and
Does Susquehanna River be a perfect
Susquehanna would have been cool. Where they took this stone out of the river, by the Kirtland Temple.
Mhm.
I thought about doing it there. I ended up a chapel in Springville. That's where I ended up.
Springville?
Yeah.
Is that where you were?
That's where I was living at the time. Version 1.0. That's where we lived.
There you go.
Lived there for 6 months. What have we got? What is happening?
Hang on.
Oh, come on, LDS Bot.
I'm getting some more information.
Okay.
She had to change her query.
Because is this a touchscreen?
Nope.
Okay. So it said, it quoted the handbook
Sure.
that says they need to wear white clothing that is not transparent to symbolize purity and cleanliness.
So it's in the handbook.
Yeah,
But
so we have to
handbook.
follow. But the handbook
But-
changes.
I asked if there was doctrinal precedent.
Okay.
Practice of wearing white clothing during baptism is symbolic and represents purity, cleanliness, and a new beginning. While the specific requirement for white clothing isn't explicitly detailed in Scripture, the symbolism aligns with the teachings of the gospel about becoming clean and starting anew through baptism. This tradition helps emphasize the sacredness and significance of the ordinance. If you have more questions about baptism or any other gospel topics, feel free to ask.
Yeah, I like it. I'm not naysaying.
It's not a bad thing.
naysaying it, but it is a thing that I worry about sometimes. That we're like, guys, we're getting in our own way. People would like to, commit to
They're ready.
have their sins washed away and all these things. They're like, sorry. Like this is another one of these things. If you'll forgive me this moment where all of these members, these future members, gathered to be baptized, and the Savior's there, and we're like, hey, yeah, we're gonna come back next week.
Sorry.
Well,
They don't have enough white jumpsuits
They did say they're sending the missionaries out to those people to
to be able to come back and do it. But if they were there, if they were ready, if they were willing, I can't help but think that, I attribute that to the Savior, but I can't imagine that Elder Uchtdorf would be like, go away, come back, we'll send someone to you. I think we would be like, let's do this.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thought.
I had an interesting experience when my oldest was getting baptized. So she's 19. So this was 11 and a half years ago. We had, my grandma made a baptismal outfit when my oldest sister was baptized.
Okay.
And all three sisters wore it. We have cousins who wore it and close family friends who wore it. My sister's daughters all wore it. My other sister's daughters wore it. And when it came time for my oldest daughter to be baptized, my sister sent it to me, but something happened with the address. So it didn't arrive to me in time.
Oh, no.
And I was devastated.
Sure.
I was so sad. And then I had to have a complete perspective shift and go, it is not about this outfit.
Sure.
It is about the ordinance that we're participating in. And
Right.
so then when my next daughters were baptized, I was like, they're wearing the jumpsuit because it is about the ordinance. It's not about the family tradition. And the outfit was beautiful. It was so cute. I remember wearing it. But at the same time, I had to make sure that my what's the word?
Your perspective.
My
yeah.
paradigm was in the right
Yeah.
place.
That's great.
Which doesn't mean we can't have traditions, right? Because you sort of abandoned it after that. I'd be fine perfectly, with doing that.
Well,
When
my
possible.
wife took her wedding dress and actually turned it into a baptismal, not a baptismal, a baby blessing gown.
Oh,
Interesting.
So all the babies have been blessed
Yeah.
in that.
But the point is they're getting blessed.
Yeah,
the
right.
point is not,
Exactly.
Susan's
I-
dress must be upon the skin of your child.
I love the
Otherwise-
reframing. I think that's a great way to look at it.
Hard for us to do, though.
yes.
It is, but I think we actually do that in church with the sacrament because the sacrament is the ultimate reason we go to church on Sunday, and yet is an incredibly simple ceremony.
Yep.
And we don't make people, I mean, we'd follow the things we're told to follow, and we don't make it more flowery and more important and more. I mean, if you look at the tablecloths, usually, I mean, the
There's
church issue tablecloths look like bed sheets to me.
Yeah.
Right.
So I've seen some lacy ones.
There are
Some
good
doily
people
ones.
donate
Yeah.
and do those things, but it's a very simple and powerful ordinance. So I love the reframing of baptism too, the same way.
This is a complete aside. I did a wedding yesterday, and evangelical Christians were the people who got married. It was an interesting thing. As part of their ceremony, they took communion
I've seen that.
as part of their wedding ceremony.
That's certainly a Catholic part
Yep,
of a
it
wedding
was-
ceremony.
Yeah, it was not. They were not Catholics.
And
So
any Orthodox does that too. That's interesting.
but it was a moment where, and I loved this because you don't see this very often, in the Mormon ring ceremonies where the bishop doesn't know what he's doing. Don't get me on that again, but it was interesting to see it be so Christ-centered. And as they're taking the communion, they asked people if they wanted to support the bride and groom and to help them to feel the love to raise hands.
To raise their hands.
Okay.
To raise their hands and to have them feel the love and be able to see the love. And it was, if you just walked into it, you would be like, I am unsure what is happening right now.
Mhm.
But the sentiment around all of that, and to see the entire, literally everyone, and I know not everyone felt the same way about Jesus as the couple did because of later happenings. But you see the hands raised in the air and supporting these people. It was an
Wonderful.
incredibly like spiritual wedding ceremony, which you don't always get.
I attended a wedding that did that one time, and they were also evangelical Christian, and it was funny because they used like a very prized bottle of wine.
Mhm.
And I was there with some other friends of mine, mutual friends, and one of them turns to me, who's not a member of the church, and she turns to me and knows we don't drink wine, and she's like, "Are you gonna take it?" And I was like, "No, I'm not." And they were very respectful. They said, "If you don't feel like this is your,
Sure.
your worshipful way of, whatever," that they weren't offended, but yeah, it was a neat thing to see. And it was neat because like
Cool.
the entire attendants at the wedding were offered the communion.
Wow.
So like the bride and groom took it first, and then they passed it and to like their bridal party, and then it went through the pews.
So I'm going to take this on a little serious note. Please, everyone
Was
raised.
it not serious?
No, that was
You said
serious. We're serious, even more serious.
More serious.
If you think about it, we raise our hands to provide love and support regularly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are we talking about when we sustain people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you sustain someone, there's power in that raising of hands.
1,000%.
Absolutely.
And I know there's lots of times where I've had callings where I haven't paid much attention to that, but I've had a couple of callings where I'm sitting on the stand when they do that. And it brings me to tears when I see people do that and support people that way.
Well, and something significant, I think, when you are intentionally, do I sustain this person, and raising your hand as opposed to I've heard the cadence of the thing that they said, raise your hand, and we just sort of throw our hands up in the air and then do it. But like knowing and fully sustaining and meaning what it is that you're doing by your hand raising, it's significant. Thank you. I appreciate that. You kind of don't do that. Conversely, though, when they say any opposed, there were not any that we did not ask for opposed at the wedding ceremony, where they're like, "Yep, me."
But
They
there's
say if
these
anyone
fathers
has-
in the congregation who oppose something.
That's true. That's true.
Down. So that was
Still waiting
Good
for a
story.
good opposing. I want to hear a good opposing.
Oh, I never want to see that.
If you if you move back here and you get called to anything, I will oppose it. Just
For you.
just so you know. Or if you're getting called to something and getting sustained, that's when I'll come out and visit you. So let me know. Hey, I'm getting
I'll let you know.
on Sunday. I'll show up. You don't know what I know. And then I'll just leave.
Just leave.
And then no one.
I am always terrified of witnessing somebody opposing because I'd be like, what do I do? Do I need to do something? Wait, no, I just sustained. So like, I feel like I would have like some sort of secondhand like embarrassment, but not.
No,
I don't-
the pressure's on one person on the stand. They're the one that has to go meet that person after. the
Yeah,
meeting.
but then I would also just feel so bad for everybody involved.
I'd
I'd probably like instantly start weeping.
Maybe I take joy in awkwardness.
I've seen it happen once.
I've seen it happen once.
And
I
it was-
remember.
Like literally everyone started talking, and I don't think it was the bishop, I think it was one of the counselors, gets up and goes, and just like fumbles through it. The opposition was noted and we'll bring this up at a future time or something like that. And everyone was like, oh, okay. At least he recognized it, I guess. But now then you try and get into the spirit of the meeting and you know, the sacrament, and everyone's like, I wonder what he did. I wonder why they hate each other. Did you hear that maybe I don't know.
Well, nowadays we'd just be texting.
Yeah,
Sure.
we just hear like pings all
Yeah.
throughout.
Sure.
Yeah.
And the one guy who still has a ringtone on his text messages and doesn't know how to turn it off.
Yep.
Got the red.
More than a feeling from
Yeah.
Boston.
Yes. Brother Youd, you mind?
That would be me.
So that's 2 news stories, guys.
Yeah, we did it.
Let's go.
We got one more. We got time for one more. So let's pick it real good. I think that we need to talk about what happened at the fair conference. Maybe that's where we
Okay.
end.
Wait,
Yeah, that's a good one.
Have you followed this at all?
A little bit.
maybe it depends on what you're talking about.
So Kurt and I
Well, there's a couple of things that happened at the fair.
Okay,
So
yeah.
you go with yours. Yeah.
well, here's the thing. I get a message from Kurt. Let me cite him. Kurt Frankham from Leading Saints,
Saints.
the owner of This Week in
He's from Leading Saints.
Yeah. He sends me a message the other day, and it's screenshots. Oh, sorry, everyone. Sends me screenshots from fair conference. He's there. Lots of people text me, "Why aren't you here?" And I said, "Working. How does everyone have the time to take a weekend?" I understand it.
Some people have no weekend job.
He you know, it's a nonprofit, so his job is to go and to do things like
Right.
that. So he sends me 2 different screenshots. One is about child abuse reporting statutes and shows a map of the United States and what the various states require.
Oh, the laws.
etc.
Yeah.
The laws. Oop, that's his family. And then the other one is a slide that says, "Why not deputize clergy?"
Well, I know exactly what you're talking about now.
People seeking help with clergy privilege. There's a bunch of them. People seeking help without clergy privilege, far less of them. And then the big discussion was, if we make mandatory reporters out of clergy, people won't go and tell their bishop about what they've been doing. Far less will be able to help far less people. And I just don't agree with that. And I appreciate, so the presentation, as I understand it, was presented by a lawyer for the church. And so let me be very clear in that I understand that from a law perspective, why we do what we do. I understand why the clergy privilege is there from a legal perspective. I understand why the hotline is there from a legal perspective. I understand all of those things. I understand that since the church has made it aware and others have made it aware of how much the church owns, that we have a target on our back for lawsuits and litigation and all of these things. I am not unaware of any of those things. And yet, I can't imagine a scenario where, if we're thinking that that the Spirit is in the room, whether we're talking about the literal Holy Ghost is in the room, or like this combining time when someone is being penitent and they have broken the law to the least of these, that there's ever a time where you just be like, we'll work this out. We're gonna talk this through. Secret safe with me. Go ahead and go home. We'll talk about this again next Sunday, Brother Youd. I cannot wrap my brain around it. I have read it. I'm going to read more. I want to make sure that I'm as informed as it can be. But the idea that it's like, not only are we going to not report, but it's better for us, everyone. It's better that we don't report, that we don't make mandatory reporting out of this. I just can't get behind it, and we'll argue to the death around it.
Well, I won't argue to the death. I've started doing some reading, so I'm dangerous. I am not, I haven't fixed my opinion yet. But what came to me was there's an analogy, right? And maybe this is way more provocative, but there's an analogy of abortion. And so there are times when it's appropriate and times when it's not. But I am a big fan of doing everything possible to minimize the number of abortions. And the scientific evidence and studies all point to the fact that it's minimized under a certain legal construct,
Okay.
which no longer exists in the U.S., which did exist until last year. or 2 years ago. And that minimized abortions. I would love to see the research and the science on what minimizes child abuse or sexual abuse,
Sure.
or what maximizes the identification of it and the benefit to the child. Is it maximized by mandatory reporters, or is it maximized by individuals self-reporting? And I don't know.
Yeah.
But the claim I think that you're referencing is that if someone comes and confesses themselves to the sin, they're the perpetrator, then the authority, the priesthood authority that's working with them should be encouraging them to self-report.
Sure.
Yeah.
That should be the normal set of things. If someone comes and says, I have been abused, I think that's a different kind of circumstance too.
Sure.
And if a third party comes and says, I've learned that this child is being abused, then that's a third circumstance. And I just don't know enough to know which one provides the most efficacy for the abuse.
Most protection.
And the most protection.
The thing that I probably struggle with the most, and when we're talking about the hotline and when we're talking about the mandatory reporting or not, is it seems that we know that abuse occurs. And this is an LDS church specific.
Typically, it always will.
It always will. It always has. It's not just our church, so I'm not coming necessarily.
Everywhere.
Every organization.
But I think that it is poignant to bring up that we don't do a lot for those victims.
Yeah, we do a terrible job.
For it does not seem, or if we are doing something for abuse victims, let's put them high on the mountain and talk about it, and
without embarrassing the individual, without
Right.
re-traumatizing, right? But
like we have
Yeah.
a
studies
hotline.
and science,
Yep.
and I want to see the studies. I want to.
Because I know that people will be like, well, I could just go in and tell my bishop that that someone has been doing this, and yes, after an accusation, even if nothing is found about that, after an accusation is made, that can be destructive or destroy a person's life.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right?
Mhm.
If I am someone and I come in and I make some sort of confession, and maybe what I thought was abuse isn't really abuse, and I'm self-reporting, and it's like, oh no, that isn't what that is, right? That could destroy someone's life as well. I just wish that we would do more outwardly for victims, so that there can be a stomach for like, hey, yeah, we're also going to do this way. And I just think that we're missing the point. Again, mourning,
Agree.
compassion, all of these things that seem to go hand in glove with this, and we're just like, wow, the law, the heartless, cold, no-feeling law is this, and we will adhere to this. And I just want someone to share with me why we're not also on the other end with the victims.
Well, I'll go back to what we've said lots of times. It shouldn't be about the letter of the law. It should be about the spirit of the law. And the law is, do not offend one of these little ones.
Yep.
Can I share some stream of consciousness
Please.
thoughts on this?
Mm-hmm.
First of all, I'm very glad that I am never in the position of having to make the decisions for how these things are
1000%.
handled, because I do believe that regardless of what the church does, what individual bishops do, stake presidents, like all of these people, regardless of what they do, it's never going to be enough, because it's
Sure.
always going to exist, and there's always going to be critics who say it's too much, it's too little, you did it wrong,
Sure.
wrong.
Should have done it sooner.
Should have done it
Yep.
sooner.
Could have waited longer.
I do find it interesting when I hear people like Jennifer Roach, who talks about how, like mandatory background checks. With a lot of the recent cases, the background checks would have done zero good,
Sure.
and that's where you get into it. And it's like you said, Verlin, like getting down to the actual science, the actual numbers that can't be spun on either side. What is it that is actually needed? And it's kind of terrifying to know that answer might not exist.
Yeah.
And I thank Heavenly Father every single day that it's something my family has yet to have to deal with. But I have been in a position of being a mandatory reporter as a primary president. And I only had to say things twice, but that was 2 times way too many. And it wasn't for anything sexually related, but it was abusive situations. And
Nice.
that was really hard.
Yeah.
And I don't, I believe that more often than not, bishops are compassionate and well-meaning, and they want the best for their members. And I'm sure it's an awful burden for them to have to bear. And like you said, giving support to the victims, we have all kinds of, 12-step programs for various addictions and supporting the spouses of people who are addicted or the families, of addiction. So something for victims, and maybe that exists that I'm unaware of.
Yeah, I don't think it
And
does in the church, at least not that I'm aware of. Someone could correct us, contact at the Cultural Hall. But
.com.
.com, I assume the .com.
Oh, don't assume it.
But I think
I
what
tried
we
putting
need
it.
to do,
Yeah, sorry.
we need to err on the side of protecting the abused, right? And until we have a strict policy, then we have to err on that side.
Right.
It just feels like that has to be done.
Yeah.
And it's very much like everything else to do with kind of church membership status. It frankly isn't managed very consistently. I mean, Richie has experienced this in his life.
Yes.
And plenty of others have, and it's atrocious to me as I've talked to people and had those conversations, and in my head say, I can't believe that someone did that or said that or told you that this had to happen this way.
Right.
And it's because we don't have a very consistent set of training and standards for handling these kinds of situations.
Right.
And
Well,
this is where Curtin Leading Saints is trying to help a little bit.
right. Well, and then we also have, say somebody's membership status is in question. One thing I think of, like Ruby Frankie and Jody Hildebrand, right? We had a big discussion with my daughter about that, and she's like, "How are they still members?" I'm like, "Well, we don't know that.
We don't know.
We have no idea because the church is never going to comment on that." But that's just another area that it gets
Actually,
difficult.
I do know, but I'm not allowed to say anything about it.
Okay. You know what I? But
vague.
knows why I know.
Vague, yeah.
yeah.
He knows
But
why.
you know what I mean? Like we're not gonna know for sure. Same with like Tim Ballard. Like
Yeah.
there's plenty of speculation, and so then when you have
Julie Hanks.
right, when you have these other circumstances, when the church is trying to protect itself by not divulging information, I don't know where I'm going with that, but it's hard.
No, it creates that situation where
Yeah.
there isn't any consistency there.
Right.
And I understand people being able to go on inspiration, and that's what priesthood leaders and any person who holds a calling like primary president has to do, is be guided by the Spirit, and things are different person to person. I really appreciate and love that.
Mhm.
But we need some consistency when it comes to these kinds of very dire situations.
Yeah. Are we going to do this Aaron Sherinian story real quick, and then we got to wrap it up?
We can
We're
do
over
it
an hour.
quickly. Yeah, we can do it quickly. So at the same Fair Latter-day Saint conference, Aaron Sherinian gave the keynote address. And for those, Aaron Sherinian is, what is his official title? Church Communication Director.
Previous guest of the Cultural Hall.
Okay.
And he is one of the most intelligent, well-spoken, methodical. He's a fantastic individual, and he was hired by the church. The Quorum of the 12 Apostles and the prophet hired him to be the director of communications for the church. When he was hired not so long ago, he took a lot of flack because on his social media posts, he had made posts about supporting all different kinds of groups,
Oh yeah.
right? And not being
Supporting all types of groups?
Like the Savior would?
Yes, yeah, exactly. Loving everyone, right? And believing in the power of love to bring people further than criticism. And
All of them?
Yeah, the power of
All-
love, though, is a curious thing.
yes,
It's one man weep and another man say.
I can't. My voice won't do that. But so he took a lot of flack, particularly with people saying, "Well, obviously you don't believe in the proclamation on the family." Well, he gave this keynote address, and after the keynote, he was doing a Q&A with the head of Fair Latter-day Saints. And the question was asked, hey, when you first got your position, you took a lot of flack. For instance, you took flack about the family proclamation. How did that feel? And what did you learn from that? And he gave a very well thought out, off the cuff response and I can't really do it justice. You have to go listen. There's a clip on YouTube that's about 4 minutes long that you can go listen to the question. But he answers the question in a very personal way, which was brilliant. It's making me already think about the way I react to people that may criticize me. And he gave a wonderful answer. Well, all of a sudden, social media fires up again, and everyone's saying, well, he didn't answer about the proclamation to the family. He didn't say he supports the proclamation to the family. And they're criticizing and asking for him to be fired because he didn't answer that question. Well, the question wasn't asked, number one, and I'll credit another podcast for bringing this up yesterday, the Inside Out podcast. Jim Bennett brought it up. They didn't ask the question, do you support the proclamation on the family? They asked, how did you deal with that situation? Number two, he was hired by the Quorum of the 12 in the First Presidency. He said in his answer, I support the brethren 100%.
Right.
And I support the church 100%. And when you listen to him do his job, his everyday job, there's no question.
Right.
And yet people inside the church are criticizing another person inside the church and calling for their firing.
So weird.
I don't get it at all.
It draws to me like, can I outwardly through my profession support a thing and privately feel different? And when it comes to the church, so I'm not saying that this is what's going on, but let's say that and let's remove Aaron from this. Let's just say person A can say, listen, I'm hired by the brethren, I'm vetted by the brethren, and you will find that in my speaking, in my writings, in my, all of these outwardly facing things, I am in support and 100% backing the things that they say. I mean, I guess I'm setting up a question of integrity maybe a little bit, but could you personally struggle with the family proclamation, but still outwardly do that? And would you be all right? And I guess from like a church membership or like a that kind of thing, all right, would it be all right? Or can we make a place that it would be all right where you could go, yeah, listen, I'm on board. These are my guys. I'm sharing the word. If I'm being real honest, I struggle with this thing. But he knows he can't outwardly say that, so he is able to say, I do this, I support this, I am this, but inwardly is like, yeah, I'm still kind of figuring this out. We don't allow a place for people to be still figuring that out. And again, I'm not assigning this to Aaron, but I wonder if we're like, listen, if you're not all in, you're out, and I signed the change.org petition, get out of there. It's a dangerous place if we don't allow people to go, yeah, you know what? I want to be honest. I struggle with that. Or I find myself supporting things, and sometimes that runs counter to how other people think, but that doesn't mean I'm trying to lead people out of the church or anything like that. Why don't we allow space for that? Why do we have to have team 100% this or nothing?
I have thoughts.
Please.
Okay.
And then you get last word, as a
Okay, cool.
woman does.
Amen.
Sure.
Amen.
Is that why you just said the last word again, Verlin?
Amen.
I love people that do that. Amen. And then you hear the one person, amen. And then another person, amen. And it's like, guys, someone get the last word and be done. Go
So I
ahead,
have a couple thoughts. First off, there was a video that was released a couple years ago that was all of the sisters who are general auxiliary presidencies and their boards, right? And in this video, they had different statistics pop up. Like, so many of these sisters deal with mental illness.
Okay.
So many of these sisters have family members who have left the church. And this was produced by the church. So this many of these sisters have children who identify as LGBTQ, right? And so I thought that was really good for me to see that these women and these mothers have had these things that they deal with, and some of it might be in conflict with the proclamation to the family, for instance, and so clearly there's a space for them to speak on behalf of these organizations of the church when they are still having these kind of dichotomous, issues in their personal life. Additionally, I'm all in on my marriage with my husband.
Sure.
Right? No question about that. But sometimes he says things that I don't agree with. And sometimes I say things that he doesn't agree with.
Right.
And sometimes I struggle with how he gets to a certain conclusion and vice versa. And it doesn't change anything about how I feel about him and how the strength of our marriage. And if anything, probably makes it stronger.
Sure.
So
But you must agree with him 100% or get fired as his wife.
So he would
I signed the petition.
right? The change.org position.
Yeah.
Petition, but I think he would be frustrated if I did that.
Mm.
I think he would be frustrated if I didn't come to the conclusion on my own to the same place that he did, or if I said, no, I feel really strongly on this side of whatever the topic is, and then he needs to do the work on his side for us to come together. And, I've heard anecdotally maybe, and maybe over the pulpit in conference that there are people within the brethren who don't agree with each other.
Mhm.
Right.
And so
Mm.
in that regard, like there is space. We just don't talk about it,
Right.
And so it could be that there's aspects of the proclamation that maybe what's his last
Aaron Sherinian.
Aaron Sherinian, that maybe he causes him to pause, causes him to have a second thought,
Ponder.
but
Mhm.
then the rest of it, yeah, I'm all in on that. Like that
Yeah.
aspect, like the rest of it makes sense. This part I still struggle with.
Yeah.
And I think that that's okay because that is the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
For us to find out on our own. It's how the restoration began in the first place. So yes, I do believe that there is space for him to be all in his position with the church and still have things that are hard.
Amen.
Amen.
All right. Well, we got to wrap this thing up. We got back to school shopping to
I know.
do. We hope that this episode has nourished and strengthened your body.
That if you're not healthy enough to listen this week, you'll be able to listen next week.
What do you got, Verlin?
I made you improv.
That's my line. So I don't know.
Oh, you don't know the other?
No.
And then when the time comes, you can travel home in safety.
In the meantime, go Tar Heels. Chris at Alpine Lakes Travel, Debbie Wanless, Chocolate Cake Bites Podcast, and the Tiger with a U.
We'll be saving a seat for you.
On the back row.
Of the
Cultural Hall.
Now I got to walk all the way across the room. Hold on.
Get your
Still
steps
walking.
in.
Invest in a remote.
Is there a remote for a computer?
Yes.
Such a...
Save me a seat, it's sure to be neat on the back row. We really gotta go on the Culture Hall show.